Hi, Gabby from Red Studios, and today I'm going to be comparing three of the most popular Aps-c mirrorless cameras. Well, the reason I'm doing this video is because you guys asked for it, and there's also another reason. I wanted to know what is the result for this test because I love shooting with crop sensor cameras. So let's get down to it. So first, I wanted to check colors, more or less dynamic range. It was too cloudy. The sun is behind the subject, but you can see there isn't much dynamic range on the Canon M50. Colors are alright. The Fuji is pretty good. It have amazing dynamic range, perfect colors, were very accurate colors. I mean, I put the camera down and what I see is what I get. Now the Sony, the standard picture profile, is pretty bad. The white balance was way off. I use automatic white balance and you can see the results, not that good. Here I have the three together and I color corrected, as you can see. And now the colors are not so far off between one and the other one, right? So I shoot the same again, but this time I dial down the saturation, contrast and sharpness on the Canon so I can edit it. And it looks really good now. It's still not much dynamic range, but very good image quality. Now I use Eternal Profile, which is a little bit more flat on the Fuji, and again I color corrected and looks yet again really good. And I did the same with Sony. I used xt3 and Cinema on the profile, and it looks way better than before. Image quality is better, colors are better, a lot of dynamic range. For the next test, I changed the lenses. So before I was shooting with kit lenses, now I make sure that I have the sharpest lens, the f-stop 6 or 7, or like I keep a relatively high f-stop to make sure the image is the sharpest possible, and on a tripod. And the results are basically the 4K on the Canon isn't that sharp, but the Fuji and Sony is incredibly sharp. It's like sharp as a knife, and you can see the three cameras put together, one next to the other one, in just a second, on a 300% crop, and you can really tell the difference. You can see how the Canon is much softer. Fuji and Sony is like equally sharp. Then I tested the 1080p. People say Canon is the king of 1080p, so let's check that out. I only crop it into 200% because it's already a 1080p that is upscaled to 4K, so no need to crop anymore. And I believe the Fuji is still on top. It comes on top yet again. The Sony actually doesn't come even close. This time is the worst image quality. The Canon is actually somewhere in between. It's close to the Fuji actually. It's not bad. So then I wanted to test the slow motion. I started with 60 frames per second, as Canon does only 60 frames per second at 1080p. And all three cameras did almost the same. There is like almost no difference. I feel like the Sony was a little bit softer, but really not much of a difference. They're all pretty good actually, in my opinion. But it's a completely different story when we went to 120 frames per second, where the Canon can only do 720p and no autofocus, no audio. Now the Fuji, which have a small crop, shoot with no audio, but really good image quality. The image quality is pretty fantastic on the Fuji when it comes to slow motion. And the Sony, we have no crop, autofocus, and that's 120 frames per second with audio. It's pretty much as good as the Fuji when it comes to image quality, but it's actually better. You know, you get more out of that camera because when it comes to slow motion, it's good to have audio and being able to slow it down later in post. And there is no crop, which is also pretty good depending on which lens are you using. That's gonna be helpful. Now, test finished, but I wanted to make a little disclaimer. Except for the beginning, for the middle of the test when I'm testing the sharpness in 4K and 1080p, for the rest I use the kit lenses on each camera. Fuji kit lens is way better than the other two kit lenses. This is like a mismatch right there. But it's what I have. I only have 3 lenses available for the Fuji, and I have a barrage of lenses in the other two cameras. But I try to kind of level the playing field as much as I could. I use the kit lenses on each camera. Maybe there is a bit of more sharpness, better image quality on the Fuji because of the lens. That being said, I believe the Fuji still is the best Aps-c camera today. And I feel like the Sony comes close, but there are many things worth saying. There are many little problems with that camera, you know. It's like the screen is hard to see, 4K, you shoot in 4K, the screen dims out, you shoot in slow motion, screen dims out. You can see at the beginning of the test that I kind of like miss a little bit exposure. I see like overexposed a little bit, and that's because I was looking at the autometer on the camera and the screen, and I can't see anything. I was outdoors. So that's worth saying. Another thing is the 1080p on the Sony, for some reason, is pretty bad, and the colors even worse when you shoot at 1080p. Something is wrong with the 1080p on that camera. So if you're planning on shooting 1080p with a Sony A6300, don't. Not good. You have to shoot 4K. Another thing that you should consider is the Fuji and the Sony 4K files and slow motions are pretty big files, big chunky files, where the M50 keep everything like light and small and very easy for edit. So if you don't have a very powerful computer, you should consider buying a powerful computer before you even buy one of these cameras, because you are gonna need it for editing. That's we're all talking about videos. If you're talking about pictures, you can check my previous test. That being said, I think there is a place and time for each camera. For example, the Canon M50 is my go-to camera when I'm shooting YouTube videos like this. I'm using it right now. And if you're blogging, not even a contest. You have that touch flip up screen that you just tap it super fast. So yeah, not even a contest. If you want the best of the best, I would say go with the Fuji, but keep in mind that the lenses are more expensive. The entire ecosystem, everything you buy for Fuji is going to be more expensive. The Sony, I believe, came very close on quality to the Fuji. It's like the Fuji is 10 points and the Sony is 9 points. Even so, there are so many defects and problems with the Sony. When you talk about the 4K and the slow motion, it really came true. It was like very good quality. The colors are not as good, but not by much. So you could save a lot of money just by buying the Sony and take some of these problems with the Sony and deal with it, and then you're gonna be fine. You definitely have to shoot 4K, 1080p at 120 frames per second, and stay away from the standard picture profile. You need to use Cine 3, Cine 2, Cine 4, or S-Log. So if you know how to color grade, you have a powerful computer, you can go with the Sony. So that's basically my opinion. I'm happy that I have different cameras so I can achieve different looks. So in my opinion, I like to keep different cameras basically. But if you can only afford one, you know, it depends exactly what is it what you want to do. Let me know in the comment section down below which camera you think is the best, which camera is the thing you might buy, or which camera is it that you have. Are you happy with the camera you have at the moment? And don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe, especially subscribe. That will help me a lot if you do. This is Gabby from Ray Studios. Till next time.